new developments in the Charlie Kirk assassination as state charges have been brought now against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, who was in court earlier this evening. Take a look.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson.
We didn't hear much out of the young man except for that right there. I wanted to show you that. Earlier today, though, the district attorney outlined some of the evidence in this case, including a chain of text messages between Robinson and his trans girlfriend, Lance Twiggs, which again showed that he was planning to do this, that it was all out of hate. But one thing that you notice when you read through these messages is that they seem rather scripted. He says, "I'm still okay, my love," and then the roommate trans lover says, "You weren't the one that did it, right?" Question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, "I am. I'm sorry." And it goes on in this way that when you read it, it just doesn't feel, at least to me, it doesn't feel very authentic. And then you think about it for a second. And this kid obviously is enamored by being the hero in this moment. Do we really think that Tyler never told any of his radical left friends, including his trans girlfriend, that he was going to be a hero and kill Charlie Kirk when he's sitting there operating on Discord and all these places of immense hate for the right? It would be remarkably professional for a 22-year-old kid who seems rather immature to have not told anybody that he was going to do this and only tell them in the aftermath. You start to wonder if maybe he had a couple phone calls before and planned out a text thread to absolve some of the people, including his trans lover, of any culpability in this crime so that he was the only one that would face charges. I'm sure that they are looking into that. And here's more from the DA, who will likely have many more people to charge in this crime soon. Take a listen.
Robinson, I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Again, you are all I worry about, love. That came from Robinson. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you.
DA saying Robinson's mother says her son had become radicalized in just the last year and began dating this trans girl, a man trying to be a woman. That's how fast it can apparently happen, how quickly a confused young man can be swept into a bizarre left-wing trans underworld and turn so violent so quickly. At 20 years old, Tyler Robinson was reportedly a very normal young man. At 22, he's an assassin. The DA seeking no bail and the death penalty with a felony murder charge. And today it was made clear to many trying to confuse the motive here and the killer's politics that this was exactly what we knew it was all along, and the media has now been forced to admit it. This was radical left-wing violence by a fully indoctrinated pro-trans Marxist killer. Somebody that has an ideology that isn't so many people in our society. Part of a trend that we're watching evolve right before our eyes. Take a look at this also from today. So that's earlier today at a court hearing for alleged healthcare CEO assassin Luigi Mangione. Leftists cheering for the murder of a husband and a father because he worked in an industry that they find repulsive because it is so greedy. The same vile behavior we've seen over Charlie Kirk's death, the celebrations, the scariest subsection of our society, millions of people celebrating murder, whether it's what Luigi has allegedly done or what Tyler has allegedly done, it is a celebration. And you are surrounded by these people in this country. They are everywhere. Red states, anywhere you live, you've got them. A recent study revealing half of American leftists could justify killing Elon Musk. Closer to 60% at 56 could justify killing Donald Trump. These are people who self-identify as left of center. That's how many people could justify killing our president and one of the richest men in the world. The recent Rutgers study confirming what we all know. We have a huge, huge problem on the left. The data reveal a structured endorsement of political violence targeting figures like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. These attitudes are not fringe. the study says. They reflect an emergent assassination culture grounded in far-left authoritarianism and increasingly normalized in digital discourse. Cyber social platforms, particularly Blue Sky, play a strong, proactive role in amplifying this culture. References to Luigi Mangione now function as coded endorsements of political violence cloaked in irony, memification, and plausible deniability. Assassination culture has come into this country, and it's being absorbed by a lot of people online. That is terrifying. But as terrifying as that is, this is not the answer.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society. We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
Yikes. There is no such thing as hate speech to the DOJ. That is a terrifying claim. It's been retracted now. But after all the work conservatives have done to make sure the authoritarianism that we felt from the left during COVID never happens again, to hear that is shocking. The idea that the right would just flip around and do the same is atrocious. And liberals have been lambasting the Attorney General all day, and rightly so. Conservatives have been doing the same. A cacophony of fiery tweets condemning Pam Bondi's comments coming from everywhere on the right. Full defiance to protect free speech, which is so sacred to this way of life. Just 1 year ago, Charlie Kirk himself tweeted, "Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There is ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech. All of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free." Exactly right. Critically important. And today, Bondi recanted that. We hope it was just a faux pas of sorts, clarifying that hate speech will not be prosecuted. Bondi saying only speech that incites violence or chaos will be prosecuted, and that comes from the Supreme Court. And that is the right way. You give a speech and it ends in chaos, you stir up anarchy in the country, that you can go after. You can't go after things that just piss people off and offend people. Just look at the UK, where they're now arresting 30 people every single day for what they have deemed hate speech. The United Kingdom, the West, is going to collapse because of this. The UK is going to collapse in a number of different ways. A nation run by liberals intent on suicidal collapse, and they are just throwing people in jail as fast as they can for saying anything they find offensive. They can't wait to toss a British man in jail for complaining about the Pakistani rape gangs that the government has been working to cover up. Can't wait to do it. Do it as fast as they can. If you lose free speech, imagine what the left will do next, the next time they get power. That said, though, it's also true that a company should not be mandated to keep employees who they discover to be despicable human beings that like to broadcast how horrific they are all over the internet. Take a listen to this from Matt Walsh.
The idea that society must treat all speech exactly the same, as if it's impossible to distinguish between banal everyday truth and the deranged hallucinatory rantings of bloodthirsty sociopathic hobgoblins, is totally ludicrous. Now, I don't think that such ranting should be made illegal. I don't think that the people celebrating Charlie's death should be banned by the government from saying those things. But I do think it's good that these people lose their jobs. It's good that they are shamed and humiliated and must live with the repercussions for the rest of their lives.
Consequences are consequences. They're going to come. A firing is not a free speech violation. It is not. No company should be forced to keep a ranting lunatic who celebrates assassinations and death in its employ. And most companies don't want a radical left lunatic in their employ anyway. To force that, to mandate that on companies that they must keep these people, would be an infringement on the rights of the owner of the company. You can't be forced to keep somebody that works there if you suddenly discover that they're a psychopath. People understand that when they decide to air their opinions on the internet, which is now everyone, right? Because every housewife in the Midwest for some reason has to let people know that she voted for Kamala and that Trump is a fascist. There could be consequences for that. There could be consequences in a lot of different ways. And the First Amendment does not guarantee your right to a job if you decide to be atrocious in a way that could hurt that company's bottom line if you continue to work there. Celebrating assassinations, celebrating a young father getting his carotid artery blown out by a bullet while he's having a conversation with other people, you celebrate that? And you think you're entitled to just keep your job? That would be a total infringement on the rights of the employer. But at the same time, unequivocally, we should not be trampling the speech of these left-wing lunatics, no matter how vile, no matter how disgusting, no matter how condemnable these people are. You can't do it. That's the deal. Because at the end of the day, what would they do? They'll just conceal that speech in dark places, be harder to find them. If you hate these people and what they stand for, you have to fight it at its core. And that is the Marxist ghouls who are spending a fortune, an absolute fortune here in recent years, to radicalize this country as much as they can. There's a lot of very dark money spinning around, and it's coming from familiar names that maybe live in China, familiar names that have done business all over the world, all in an effort to undermine and destroy your country, and the president talked about it earlier this week.
We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder. And also, I've been speaking to the Attorney General about bringing RICO against some of the people that you've been reading about that have been putting up millions and millions of dollars for agitation. These aren't protests. These are crimes, what they're doing.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.